Hi everybody and welcome back to Marissa Renee, and today there is something I'm going to start doing periodically is a sip and spill. So I'm going to sip my wine, of course, and I'm going to share with you a crazy story. Before I get started, please, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, then also turn on notifications, and of course follow me on social media. So for today's sip and spill, we are drinking the Rascal Pinot Noir that I reviewed. So please check out that link. I'll link it up here. Let's get into it. Cheers. But for this, this is not enough. We need to go ahead and fill that baby up. This is a very crazy story about my allergic reaction to hair dye. And I doing this for awareness, really, and also because don't ever be like me. I would never wish this on my worst enemy. Cheers. This also happened to me not once, but twice, because I am hard-headed. And I'm also going to be periodically putting up pictures so you understand the flow and the progression and how serious it really became. First time, backstory, both my parents have grayed early. So naturally, I would start graying early. It never bothered me. Like I would dye my hair. I probably had my first gray hair when I was like a teenager. I don't know. I always wore sew-ins. Always wore sew-ins. Usually full sew-ins with like a closure. So you never saw my hair. So I would go on breaks without dyeing it. When I turned 30, I chopped off all my hair. My hair professionally dyed. No problem. Fast forward to 2019, I started working at this job and I had to wear a uniform. And if you ever had to wear a uniform for work, you couldn't have your hair touch the collar. So you always had it, like if someone who had long hair had to wear their hair in a bun, like a very neat bun. When I first started the position and I got my uniform, I was wearing passion twists. And then of course I had to come out. And then I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Because I didn't like the way my wig was looking in a bun. It looked real wig-ish. It was not giving. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do? In October. November was my 1-year anniversary, 2019, my 1-year wedding anniversary. And I was gonna get my hair pressed out because Christy never seen my real hair straightened, but I need something in between. So let me go ahead and get a sew-in. I only wanted it in for a month. Like, I don't wanna go buy it. It was this whole drama, of course. I was like, let me just go use the hair that I already had from my wig. The hair that I had on the wig was jet black. So of course I have a lot of gray hair. You can't really see it on camera too good, but I have a lot of gray hair. So I was like, well, I need to dye my hair that's going to be left out so it can blend and look nice. No big deal. I've dyed my hair myself before, never had an issue. Go to the store. Of course, I'm a procrastinator. At the time I had passion twist in, so she was going to do my hair. I was on a Sunday and I was like, well, Saturday night I gotta go to the store, get some hair dye. Go to the store. I usually get Dark and Lovely. They didn't have Dark and Lovely, and I said, well, whatever, I don't have time, so I'm just gonna I got Cream of Nature. Got the hair dye. This is where procrastination saved me. Of course, I waited till the last minute, the next day, to take out my hair. I had to dye it, wash it, blow dry it in preparation for her to come do my sew-in. Well, I don't have that much time. I'm only leaving some of my hair up in the sides, so let me just dye that. So I just dyed the top part of my hair and the sides of my hair. Left the dye in for 10 minutes. Normally it says leave on to 25 to 35 minutes. It also says to do a skin test. I've never done that personally, and I honestly don't know anybody who ever has, but after this whole experience, 1000% recommend to do the skin test. Comes and do my hair, we're having a good time, and the next day, so at the time I also work Tuesday through Saturday, so I got it done on Sunday. So Monday, I wake up and I'm noticing like my head is like really, it starts like crusting like on the parts, and I was like, well, I don't know what it is. So I originally thought that she just braided my hair too tight, and mind you, I haven't had a sew-in in a long time because I was wearing wigs. So I was like, maybe I'm just being, tender-headed, which I'm not. Tender-headed, you cannot be a natural and be tender-headed. I'm sorry. So I just kind of chalked it up to my hair being too tight. The next day, which was a Tuesday, I had to go to work. So I wake up and my hair is like wet. I'm like, why is it wet? So I'm still thinking that my hair is just too tight and it's like red and raw. I don't know what it is. I gotta go to work. On my way to work, I put up like a scarf on my head because, if your hair gets wet and you're natural, it just curls right up, and I needed to blend because it's straight hair. Of course, you know, I wear glasses. I start noticing my glasses to get tight, and I don't like have a wide face. So I was like, well, why are my glasses getting tight? So I pull up the mirror and I start noticing my eyes. So this is the picture right here. You can see my eyes slightly puffed up. So I FaceTime Kristen. I'm like, hey babe, like, do you feel like my face is swollen? She's like, yeah, like you need to come home. So this is about 6:45-ish. So I called my boss, who was a black woman. So she understood, and I was like, hey, I think I need, like, I just got my hair done and I think it's like too tight and my face is starting to swell, so I feel like I need to go home to make sure like I'm good. She's like, okay, no problem. So I go home. At the time I worked about 45 minutes away. So by the time I get home, I walk in the door and my son CJ looks at me. He's like, oh my God, mommy, what's wrong with your face? I'm like, what's wrong with my face? So it starts swelling, like, I look like a light bulb, like it's wide. So this is a picture here. This is about 7 or 8 o'clock. So I'm still not understanding. So Christy's like, you need to take your hair out. So I start thinking, it has to be something else. Like I've never had this happen. I've gotten several stones in my life, like never happened. So I take my hair out, and progressively, like you can see, it looked like a different person. Like this is what I'm starting to look like right here. I'm like, something's wrong. So I take my hair out, but then I'm like contemplating because I'm like, I still have to go to work. Like what am I going to do for work? So I have to wear a uniform. I have all these restrictions. I wash my hair. I start Googling. I'm like, what changed? And like the only thing I could think of was the hair dye, because I've never used this brand before. I Google, you know, allergic reactions to hair dye. Boom, there it is. That's exactly how my face looks. Go to bed and I wake up, and I wake up around 7:15 because I have to make sure CJ's up, get him to the bus stop, all that good stuff. So I get up and I'm like, I go to the bathroom and my eye is just getting worse. This is me at 7:15 in the morning. So I'm like, crap, like I have to go get some Benadryl. Like what am I gonna do? By the time I go to the bus stop and I kind of come back, this is what my eye looks like, completely swollen. So I'm like, crap, I really have to go to get some Benadryl. Looking crazy. By the time I get in the car and look in the mirror, it's even worse. This is it right here. So I call Christy and I'm like, babe, look at my face. So she leaves work immediately. I had to go into Walgreens looking like an idiot, and I'm like, I need some Benadryl. And the cashier looked at me and she said, I think it's a little late for Benadryl. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't really have a choice. I take the Benadryl and I get some neutralizing shampoo. So I'm going back in the shower. I call my boss. I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to come in. Like my eye is literally swollen shut. At this point, I'm not presentable to go into work. Then we start researching like how to get over allergic reactions, and we read Vaseline. And we didn't have Vaseline because I don't like Vaseline. It grosses me out. That's another story for another day. But I had Aquaphor. So Christy comes home and she's like lathering my face with Aquaphor. So not only is my eye swollen, my face is greasy. At this point, I'm like, I have to go to urgent care. So I go to urgent care. They give me IM shot of Benadryl, IM shot of steroids, and they put me on steroids for a month. Come back home, and I'm like, I still look kind of crazy, but I have to just wait it out. And, you know, these are just some progression. I'm going to just kind of show them in the back as the progression while I keep talking for the sake of time. So what happens with allergic reactions, it starts just like going down your body. And then so like my neck had like fluid. You can like literally flick my neck. And it started being down here. And I mean, just look at my face. Like long story short, I ended up having to go back to urgent care because my throat started itching. And I was like, if my throat closes up, like what am I gonna do? So go back to urgent care, get another shot of Benadryl, get another shot of steroids. That'll work for a week. And that's ultimately what actually led me to wearing my natural hair out. So I mean, it was like a silver lining in there, I guess. But this is when it happened the second time, because I told you I was hard-headed. It was a year to date. I got tired of growing my hair. Like there's nothing wrong with gray hair, and I wish that my hair would just go gray. So I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to dye my hair again. I'm going to use Dark and Lovely, which is a brand I've used several times in the past. I get the Dark and Lovely jet black hair dye and I dye my hair. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do all of it. So I dye my whole entire head. I leave it on for the entire 35 minutes. I'm about 8 o'clock. I looked at Christy and I was like, my throat's starting to itch. And I was like, here we freaking go. This time I'm gonna beat it. I'm going to beat it to the punch. So I take some Benadryl thinking I'm good. I already had the Benadryl here from my last allergic reaction. I go to sleep. I wake up. And this is where it gets a little gross. So my pillow is soaking wet. Mind you, my hair was completely dry. So It was pus, which is really gross, but that's what happens naturally with your body, is trying to get rid of what it's allergic to. It, you know, secretes it. That's the word, secretes it. So my pillow's wet and I'm like, crap, like it's not getting any better. I take another Benadryl and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna beat it again. I'm gonna go to urgent care early this time to try to overcome it. Go to urgent care. I'm in the parking lot. I can see my head starting to get bigger. This is me on my way to urgent care. You can see my head is starting to be disfigured. I explained it and they said, you know, it's actually more common than you think. And it actually happens the most with jet black hair dye and red hair dye. And if you already had this previously, it only gets worse. Like, I'm glad you came in. Again, shot of I am Benadryl, I am steroids for a month. So I'm like, okay, I beat it. No. I go home. And about a couple hours later, this is what my face is starting to look like. So do you see how big this is? I couldn't even wear my glasses. There was so much pressure in my head. Now, this is about maybe 30 minutes to an hour later. My eye is swollen shut, more swollen than it was, with a swollen head looking like a light bulb. And I laugh now, but it wasn't funny then. So then I start joking, saying that I look like the guy from the Goonies. If you don't know the Goonies reference, this is who I'm talking about right here. And I looked like him. I mean, do you not see the resemblance? Whatever. Christy's like making fun of me and basically saying she told me so because she did, but I was hard-headed because I don't listen. The next day I wake up and this is what my face looks like. And now my throat is really starting to like, I'm having like a hard time swallowing. I'm like, I gotta go to urgent care again. I go back to urgent care and they give me another shot of Benadryl, another shot of steroids. And they said, if it gets any worse and it starts affecting your breathing, you need to go to the hospital. So that's like the last thing I'm trying to do. This is in 2020, so COVID's rampant. Like, no one wants to go to ER during COVID. No one wants to go to the ER, number one. Number two, no one definitely doesn't want to go to the ER during COVID. And this is what I look like. The guy from, I'm aging myself right here, but the guy from Drop Dead Fred with the flat face, that's how I look. I will say after that, it did get better. So much pressure and my eye was so swollen, it caused me to have a black eye. And Christy refused to go anywhere with me because she's like, everyone's gonna think I beat you. Like, I'm not going to the store with you because it was literally like I had a, let's have one more sip.
Just I keep my eye, but.
Two major lessons that I learned from this. The first lesson, don't be hard-headed. If something says to test it out, to do a skin test, to do the skin test. The second lesson I learned is that I'm gonna have to embrace this gray hair. So mama's going gray. I plan to be a silver fox. It's going to be nice. I'm gonna love it. We're gonna embrace it and we're just gonna go with it. Those are two things I learned. So definitely take the 5 minutes out, please. Please don't be like me. Take the 5 minutes out and please test the hair dye. Thank you for joining the first Sip and Spill the Tea with Marissa. And cheers to you all. Again, please like and comment. Let me know if it happened to you, if you had a similar reaction. I hope you didn't. And like and comment, let me know. Share it with your friends for awareness purposes. But, and also enjoy this wine. Check it out. Like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but it was pretty good. So yeah, cheers.